Hello listeners and viewers. Welcome to Kaduna State Ministry of Education Radio and TV e-learning program designed for our SS3 and other students staying at home due to the coronavirus pandemic. The present administration, under the able leadership of His Excellency, Malam Nasir Ahmed El-Rufai, is positioned as always to ensure that under his leadership, our students are not left behind in all areas of human endeavors, especially education. Kaduna State is the center of learning. Therefore, we want to ensure that our students excel in their forthcoming examinations and beyond. Students and other learners at home are given this opportunity in order to continue learning, as education is a continuous process. Different subjects will be taught in this program to assist students to perform excellently in the forthcoming Senior School Certificate examination being conducted by NECO and WAEC as soon as schools reopen. Teachers making presentations will always provide their names and phone numbers during each presentation, and they can be contacted for questions, further explanations, and/or clarifications. The following numbers and contacts can also be reached for expression of any concern or observation: 090-865-00545 or 080-383-62072. Our website is www.education.kdsg.gov.ng. Our email education@kdsg.gov.ng or education.kdsg@gmail.com. Our YouTube channel, Ministry of Education, Kaduna State. Our Twitter handle @Kaduna_MOE. Or our Facebook page, Ministry of Education, Kaduna State. Stay safe, stay at home, and learn well. Thank you, happy listening, and happy viewing.
Good day, my learners, students, listeners, and viewers at home. You are welcome to today's e-learning telecast. I hope you have been enjoying yourselves thus far. I hope this telecast has benefited you in a lot of ways. Remember that bad company corrupts good manners. And also remember that birds of the same feathers flock together. I want to also remind you that today's e-learning telecast was made possible by the efforts of the Kaduna State Governor in the person of His Excellency, Malam Nasir Ahmed El-Rufai, the Ministry of Education, and the stakeholders in the education sector. They have all come together to ensure that this telecast is a huge success, and I hope that you have been taking advantage of it. I'm so happy again because today is civic education, and I want to assure you that today you are going to have a good time because our topic is a very, very interesting topic. Our topic for today is cultism, and by the grace of God, we shall be looking at the following under cultism. 1, meaning of cultism. 2, origin of cultism. 3, some cult groups in institutions, schools, and their symbols. And lastly, reasons of joining cults. Meaning of cultism. Cultism means a practice, membership's admission policy, and initiation which is secret and known only to its members. The activities of the members have negative effects on its members and non-members alike. They are mostly found in schools of higher learning and of recent in secondary and primary schools. Its membership includes students, lecturers, pupils, administrators, non-academic staff, school authorities, and personalities. Their activities have extended to the communities where the schools are and to town and villages. Their membership outside schools are carried out by ex-school members and top politicians and government officials. My dear students, I'd like to explain this definition for you. Now, cult groups are secret groups. They are very secretive in nature. They have their specific aims and objectives, but their aims and objectives are negative. Cult groups also operate with codes, signs, and symbols. They are very secretive in nature. Cult groups usually have meetings in strange places and at very odd hours of the night. For example, they usually have meetings at graveyards, cemeteries, forests, riverbank sites, incomplete buildings, and so on and so forth. So cult groups, like I earlier said, they are secretive groups, very secretive in nature. They hardly disclose their meeting days. It is only known to members. I also want to let you know, dear students, that cults are found in our higher institutions. I'm very sure some of you will be writing your WAEC, your NECO very soon. You will write your JAM, and you will gain admission. And so this topic is very, very important because it will help you so that you will stand on your feet, you will stand strong, and say no to cultism. Now, cults are not only found in schools. Their activities have also extended outside the school premises. Members outside the school community also join various cult groups. Now, such cult groups are usually handed over, or the people that are in charge of these cult groups are usually students who have graduated, ex-students, politicians, administrators, and so on and so forth. My dear students, we shall be looking at the origin of cultism. The origin of cultism. I know it may shock you that if I tell you that initially cult groups were very good groups. They were nice groups because they had good aims, they had good objectives, but along the line, something went wrong. So let's take a look at the origin of cultism. In 1952, a group of 7 students from the University College Ibadan, now known as University of Ibadan, formed the Pirate Confraternity. So by implication, the very first group, or the very first cult group, is the Pirate Confraternity. They call themselves the Magnificent Seven. They observed that the university was populated with wealthy students who were associated with colonial powers. Those who were poor were struggling in every manner to be accepted by the more advantaged students. Social life was based on tribalism and class status, that is, social stratification. This prompted them to form confraternity. Membership was open to any promising male student, regardless of tribe, race, or class, but applications and selections was stringent, that is, it was very strict, and most applicants were denied membership. For almost 20 years, the Pirates were the only confraternity on Nigerian campuses. Like I earlier said, cult groups initially had a very good motive. They had a very good agenda. The reason why cult groups were formed in higher institutions was to fight against injustice, was to fight against partiality. In time memorial, only children of the elites were granted admissions into the higher institution. Those children or students whose parents were poor were not granted admission. There was a lot of preferential treatment that was given to children of the wealthy. And so cult groups decided to come together to fight against such injustice and to correct such errors. They tried to become freedom fighters. They became watchdogs. That is, they were fighting for a cause. They were fighting for a just cause to ensure that everyone was treated equally. And the very first cult, of course, that was formed was the Pirate Confraternity in the year 1952. And like I said, this confraternity was a collection of students, irrespective of your tribe, your race, or your social background. The essence was to come together and to fight against injustice. And so this particular confraternity, called the Pirates, ruled and dominated our campuses for so long. For over 20 years, they were the only cult group we had in our campuses in Nigeria. Another confraternity, known as the Buccaneers Confraternity, emerged and registered themselves as National Association of Sea Lords. So it means that these cult groups were a legal organization in as much as they were given the opportunity to register themselves. It means they were licensed. It means their efforts was recognized by the school management and the school authority. So cult groups were legally registered as of then. Earlier on, the pirates registered themselves as National Association of Sea Dogs. This division was a result of assertion of leadership of the group, where some wanted to hold on to power and not wanted to give it up. So it simply means that another new rival cult group sprang up that was known as the Buccaneers Confraternity. The Buccaneers Confraternity broke up from the pirate confraternity. Of course, there were issues of leadership, tussle, and struggle. And so therefore, it gave birth to another rival cult group known as the Buccaneers Confraternity. And they registered as the National Association of Sea Lords. That is their registered name. And then the Pirates Confraternity too was also known as the National Association of Sea Dogs. My dear students, we shall be looking at some cult groups in institutions, schools, and their symbols. Every cult has a symbol. And so we shall be looking at names of cults and their symbols. Number one, we have the Black Axe. It is also known as Neo-Black Movement of Africa. It emerged from the University of Benin in Edo State. Its symbol is an upright axe with a wide blade fixed to a short handle. And so wherever you see an upright axe that is crossed together like an X, that is a symbol of the Black Axe. The second cult we have is the Supreme Eye Confraternity. The Supreme Eye Confraternity. It is also known as National Association of Air Lords. It broke off from Black Axe in University of Benin. Its symbol is the skull and cross bones. So by implication, it means that the Buccaneer Confraternity was not the only cult that broke off from the Pirate Confraternity. Another new one emerged known as the Supreme Eye Confraternity, and their symbol is the human skull. The human skull with two bones crossed across the human skull. Number three, Clansmen Confraternity. Clansmen Confraternity. This cult is also known as Eternal Fraternal Order of the Region Consortium. It was founded by students of University of Calabar. It is also known as KKK, being its symbol, popularly known as Ku Klux and Klan. Number four, Supreme Vikings Confraternity. It is also known as the Adventures or the Norseman Club of Nigeria. It was founded by a former member of the Buccaneer Confraternity. So we can see that most of these cults that were emerging were rival cults. They were breaking off from other cults and forming their own cults as a result of disagreements that they have with each other. Number five, Tutu or Black Beret. Tutu or Black Beret. It is also known as the Brotherhood of the Blood. It was founded at Enugu State University of Science and Technology, known as ESUTEC. Other cults founded in the 90s are number 6, Second Son of Satan, known as SSS. Number 7, Temple of Eden. Number 8, Executioners. Number 9, Black Scorpion. Number 10, Eagle Club. My dear students, we also have female cults too. Cultist activities are not just meant for only men. We also have female cults that have been in existence for some time. Also in the 90s, female cults began to emerge in our campuses. They include the following: Black Brazier, known as Bra Bra. Number 2, we have the Vikings. Number 3, we have Daughters of Jezebel. Number 4, we have Damsels. Number 5, we have Daughters of Eve, etc., etc. Most of these cults have similar symbols like earlier cults. My dear students, we shall be looking at some signs and symbols of cults in Nigeria. That is why I want to advise you, my dear students, if you are buying t-shirts, you should be careful with the inscriptions that you see on these t-shirts. Just don't buy t-shirts anyhow, because some of these t-shirts carry the inscription of these cult groups, and you might end up getting yourself into trouble or in danger. Here are some of the signs and symbols of some cult groups. You can see the sign and symbol of the tutu or the black beret cult. You can see a black beret and a red rope tied to the beret. You can see the sign and symbol, the code they use. You can see the fingers that are joined together. Then we also have the pirates confraternity. You can see their own symbol. You can see the skull, and you can see 2 swords that is commonly used by pirates. Then we have the buccaneers. You can also see their own sign and symbol. You can see the black brazier, that is the bra bra. You can see a black brazier, that is the symbol of this female cult. We have the 2-headed eagle. You can see 2 eagles with their heads. That is the sign and symbol of this particular cult. We can see the black axe. You can see the axe I told you of earlier on. These are their symbols. We have the buccaneers confraternity again. No price, no pay. That is their theme. We have this eye, this pyramid. We also have National Association of Sea Dogs, Pirates Confraternity. So my dear students, these are signs and symbols of cult groups you should take note of. My dear students, we shall be looking at reasons of joining cults. Why do people join cults? Or why do people get themselves involved in cultic activities? The following are reasons for joining cults. 1, for protection against other cult members. Many people are into cultism because they are not secured. They are afraid. They have this fear of the unknown. And so for them to be on the safer side, they join cults, believing that the cult has the ability to protect them from every evil, from danger, molestation, or intimidation. Number 2, for passing examination by intimidating lecturers. Most students that are involved in cult activities usually do so because of passing examinations. Cult activities don't give them the time to read and study their books during exams. They are involved in various activities, and so when it's time for exams, they have nothing to write. So the only way they can pass their exams and possibly graduate from school is to go and intimidate the lecturer. They go and intimidate the lecturer and tell him to pass them if he wants to leave. They threaten lecturers so as to pass examinations. Number 3, to rape prominent girls or women in their campus. That is one of the reasons why people join cults, to become rapists, because part of their activities is to rape prominent girls in campus, especially girls whom they want to date or ask out, and such girls turn down their proposals. They get angry and take vengeance through rape. Number 4, to intimidate members of staff and students in the society. That is why people join cults. They want to intimidate people. They want to put fear in people. They want people to respect them and look at them and reverence them with high esteem. And so they join cults to intimidate members of staff and students in the society. Number 5, to gain financial assistance from politicians and some elites who want to attack their opponents. So most people join cults so as to gain financial assistance from politicians. It means that most people join cults so as to be used as hired assassins, as hired killers, and they are paid at the end of the day. Number 6, exerting power at all costs and unwilling to give it up. Cultists are power drunk. They love power so much. They want power at all costs. And so the reason why most people join cults is because they want to have power. They want to be in authority. They want to dictate and control things. Number 7, those who fail to meet up academic standards as set up by the institution will join in order to pass. We all know that in a higher institution, if you don't meet up to certain academic standards, you are withdrawn. And so the only way out for them is to join cults so as to meet up to these standards by intimidating lecturers. My dear students, we have come to the end of today's lesson, and I'm sure you have learned a lot today. But before we go to our assignment segment, I would like to do a brief recap of our today's lesson. Don't forget, our today's lesson is cultism. And I told you, I said cultism means a practice, memberships, admission, policy, and initiation, which is secret and known only to its members. The activities of the members have negative effects on its members and non-members alike. Like I earlier told you, their activities are secretive. They operate with signs, codes, and symbols. I earlier told you they have their meetings in strange places like graveyards, cemeteries, abandoned buildings, forests, and so on and so forth. I also told you that cults are found in schools, universities, polytechnics, secondary schools, and even primary schools. We have cults in the form of gangsters. We also looked at the origin of cultism. Like I earlier told you, when cultism began, it began on a very good note. They had a positive aim and objective. And I told you that the very first cult was the Pirate Confraternity that began in 1952 in the University of Ibadan. They were called the Magnificent Seven. And the reason why this cult was formed was to be able to fight for justice, because admission was given to the children of the elite and those whose parents were wealthy. And so the children of the poor were denied admission. We also looked at various types of cult groups in our higher institutions in Nigeria. We looked at the Black Axe, the Supreme Eye Confraternity, the Klansman Confraternity, Supreme Vikings Confraternity, Tutu or Black Beret, Second Son of Satan, SSS, Temple of Eden, Executioners, Black Scorpion, and the Eagle Club. Don't forget, I also told you, we have female cults like the Black Brazier, known as Bra Bra, the Vikings, Daughters of Jezebel, Damsels, Daughters of Eve, etc. We looked at signs and symbols of various cult groups, as you can see them. Look at the signs and symbols. And then lastly, we look at the reasons why people join cults. We said for protection against other cult members, for passing examination by intimidating lecturers, to rape prominent girls or women in their campus, to intimidate members of staff and students in the society, to gain financial assistance from politicians and some elites who want to attack their opponents, exerting power at all costs, and unwilling to give it up. Those who fail to meet up academic standards as set by the institution will join in order to pass. My dear students, I hope you have learned a lot. I will leave you with this assignment. Number 1, define cultism. Number 1, define cultism. Number 2, mention 5 cult groups in higher institution of learning. Mention 5 cult groups in higher institution of learning. Number 3, mention and explain 5 reasons why people join cults. Number 1, define cultism. Number 2, mention 5 cult groups in higher institution of learning. Number 3, mention and explain 5 reasons why people join cults. For reference, you can contact the following textbooks. 1, Civic Education for Senior Secondary Schools and Colleges by J.B. Saleh, Dr. O. Ademola, and P.A. Damlop. Number 2, civic education for senior secondary schools and colleges based on the NERDC curriculum by C.I. Unwaize, V.E. Ogbe, Y.S. Bashir, et al. Your reference can contact the following textbooks: Civic Education for Senior Secondary Schools and Colleges by J.B. Saleh, Dr. O. Ademola, and P.A. Damlop. Number 2, Civic Education for Senior Secondary Schools and Colleges based on the NERDC curriculum by C.I. Unwaize, V.E. Ogbe, Y.S. Bashir, et al. For further inquiries, you can contact me on this number on your screen. My name is Mr. Charles Dunia Nanat. You can reach me through WhatsApp or through SMS on this contact 070-6312-6878. 070-6312-6878. Remember, stay home, stay safe, keep learning, say no to cultism. Together with the government, we shall defeat COVID-19. Till I see you next time, bye-bye.